Can we play the bomb song?
Let's drop a bomb on the liberals today.
It's all about the love.
And blow them all away. We don't need those crazy coops. We put up a band too long. Let's drop a bomb and prove that they were wrong.
No, I feel silly about my introduction.
That's why I was waiting. I was like, let him say all of this.
All right. It is a kumbaya moment, but then I drop a freaking clip of a song about bombing liberals.
I thought you dropped that altogether. I was almost...
No, it's just for humor. Humor only. All right.
Perfect timing.
All right, today's show, by the way. We wake up every day. Those who also pay attention to any of the news. I mean, I know there's a large segment of people who wake up, they don't even know what the news is.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, but we see violence in the streets in many of these cities. And if you're watching one end of the spectrum, the liberal end of the spectrum of the news, you get one narrative about what another end, like Fox News. You get another end. Okay? So Jason and I decided, let's do a show on this and just delve into the facts. Now, we hear President Trump speak out about, like, you know what, all this violence, it's no coincidence that the violence and the what I mean by violence, and I mean the looting, the burning down of buildings and so forth.
The riots.
Thank you. Are all happening in just liberal footholds, right? These major cities that have been democratically run for 1, 2, or 3 or 4 generations, right? So we pulled the numbers. That's what we did. We did some research, right, Jason?
We did.
Okay. So first we determined what cities had the most arrests associated with riots, and I'm going to read them in alphabetical order. Over the last 3 months, this is since George Floyd, what sparked all these uprisings. Okay, it's Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, Houston, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, New York City, Phoenix, Portland, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. Those are the cities that have been most impacted by the most violent acts. Now, I'm sure everybody, the dozens of people listening to the show,
dozens,
are now like,
and their personalities, and their various personalities.
But we're just representing to you. This is kind of Wikipedia stuff where anybody could put it on there and like figure it out. Okay, all right. So then we said, okay, let's determine who's running those cities right now, and then go backwards and see how long it's been running with the same party in power. So Atlanta. By the way, the cities I just represented were Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, Houston, L.A., Minneapolis, New York City, Phoenix, Portland, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. All of them, every single one, are currently run by Democratic administrations with a Democratic mayor. All of them. Now, does that necessarily mean anything? Maybe, maybe not. It's possible that there was a recent change in party dominance, and it just happens to be the violence happens to be under a Democratic administration. So Jason and I decided, let's go back and look at how long these cities have been run exclusively by one party. So we looked at Atlanta. For 141 consecutive years, they've been run by Democrats. Boston, 90 consecutive years. Chicago, 127 consecutive years. Dallas, only 9, but it was only interrupted by one Republican administration, as I recall. Denver, 57 consecutive years. Detroit, 58 consecutive years. Houston, 28 consecutive years. Los Angeles, 19 consecutive years. Minneapolis, 63 consecutive years. New York City, 13. But the outlier was Giuliani and Bloomberg for half his administration. Yeah. Phoenix, 21 years. Portland, 68 years. Seattle, 56 years. And Washington, D.C. never had anyone else but a Democrat in power.
Right.
So, does it necessarily mean because they're Democrat in democratically run cities, it results in violence? I can't prove that. I just want you to sit back and think about it.
Well, I think there's a couple things there. First of all, it's not indicative that the violence is occurring because they're Democrats, but when the counter argument is made that the violence that is occurring in all those cities is caused by Republicans, or more specifically because of Trump, that really, the very facts underlying all of that just belies that fact. It's a ridiculous argument for Biden to come out yesterday and essentially say, yeah, it's Trump that's been fomenting this violence, when in fact in all of these cities they've been living under Democratic rule for generations, except for Dallas apparently, and it seems silly for them to say that. If they were so upset, if the Republicans are causing all these problems, why isn't like Tulsa burning to the ground?
Right, and there's a whole swath of middle America that have smaller cities now, that are not experiencing any of this kind of violence. And I don't know whether Serge is reading the internet and trying to trump us, or like texting his girlfriend. I don't know what's going on.
No, I'm just.
We need a foil here, man.
I'm looking right now.
Okay, right.
I mean, because out of the 50 major cities, let's first of all say that out of the 50 major cities, only 15 of those are Republicans, are ran by Republicans. So the numbers are already twice as many as,
Yes, but what we decided to look at is first you start at where are the riots.
Yeah.
First look at where the riots
now.
are.
I'm actually
okay.
Because you could cherry pick all of that.
No, but it's
really
the
easy
point.
to just pull out a city, a major city.
Well, I think that was the question.
Out of 70%, it's going to be a Democrat.
No, but in our view, you're approaching it wrong. If you start off with, let's look at all the cities and see who's a Republican.
The top 50 cities.
No, but you first start off, where's the violence? And who runs those cities? Don't start off who runs the cities and find out where the violence.
I'm sure there are plenty of Democrat cities that have no riots.
That's the point.
Absolutely.
We're not suggesting we're not suggesting that it's because it's Democrat there's violence. We're saying it's because we're suggesting that the reason why there's violence is the argument that being made like yesterday by Biden and others that the violence is being caused because of Republicans or because of Trump. We're pushing back against that narrative. We're not suggesting that Miss Bottoms is actually causing the violence in Atlanta. We're not saying that.
Right. So
there was riots in Fort Worth, and that city's the mayor is actually Republican.
That's right, Fort Worth.
Okay.
So that's the one. I'm 1 for 1. I scrolled down. The first one that I saw, I clicked on.
Yeah, but what?
I'm just saying.
Fort Worth.
I'm just saying.
Okay, Fort Worth.
It's top 50 city in the United States. See, I Googled top 50 cities in the United States. And I scrolled down because you see Democrat. First Republican I saw was the mayor of Fort Worth, and yes, there were riots in Fort Worth. So let's continue.
Well, we wanted your input, but that's kind of input.
You continue your thing, because right now, out of 15, one of them.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Okay, one of them is.
Continue, and I'll continue looking at the...
Again, the premise isn't that... The premise isn't that Democrats are causing it. The premise is that Republicans are not the cause of it. We're refuting a contention, especially made by Biden yesterday.
And there's a corollary to this, though, in my view. I don't know whether Jason agrees or disagrees.
We'll find out.
That when these riots occur in an election year, they realize that the base that are rioting or sympathize with the rioting are their voters. So you're not going to come out publicly and say, hey, what?
This is the second one I clicked.
Okay.
The Jacksonville mayor is a Republican.
Oh, we
know that.
Coming.
Protests marred by riots. So that's 2 for 2. You guys are 2 for 2.
What were the riots?
What do you mean?
What were the riots?
The protests to turn into riots. So this is
what were did they burn down like swaths of the city? Did they? What happened there?
Let's see. I got to click a story. Jacksonville police monitoring hot.
You would think that if a Republican mayor was the mayor of a city that was plagued by riots that don't exist, by the way, according to American media, you'd think they would have been downtown Jacksonville and downtown Fort Worth and telling us about how all these Republican mayors are causing this violence.
Oh, right here. I've looked at...
We're not suggesting that there aren't places that... Also, what's not on that list? You know what city's not on that list? Tampa. Tampa's not on that list.
There was riots here in Tampa. I was right there at one.
No, well,
At
there
the
was
mall.
Champs burned down. Yeah,
I was there that night. I
We're
had
not-
a firework explode right
You
down
were
the
right, but go ahead. But Jason,
Is he a Republican mayor?
Yeah, no.
She's a Democrat? Okay.
No,
Okay.
nice try. Wow, that's good.
I'm just saying.
I did
Lay it
not
out there,
s-
Jason.
I did not say that Tampa was a Republican city, and I did not say that riots didn't happen here. What I said was Tampa is not on that list. But Tampa is a city that has not had a Republican mayor in generations. I think it's been about 20 years. I think Bob Martinez was the last one in like 1983. I could be wrong. I think that's right. And then my point is, we didn't name every city. We're not saying that Democrats are causing riots. We're saying Republicans are not
No,
causing
you're saying
riots.
Democratic-controlled cities had all the riots. Is what
We didn't say that either. We said we're refuting.
we didn't say it.
No.
You said a
I'm kidding.
majority
I'm
of
kidding.
the riots
This is-
happened in
Okay.
Democratic
No,
control.
What the purpose of what we're talking about is there's a narrative out there because Democrats think that we're going to just, when I say we, I'm conservatives, are going to make this all about a law and order, and this is
San Diego had
we're
riots
taking
downtown.
advantage of the riots. We're taking advantage of the riots to say that we're pro law enforcement and that that kind of thing, which is weird in my view. Just hearing it weirds me out. Like, why aren't we riots or no riots pro law enforcement?
Everyone.
Right.
Democrat,
I just don't
Republican,
get it.
I don't get it, yeah.
But anyway, Jason's point is that if you're a Democrat who's put in a box in this situation, I think, and they're lashing out to get out of the box and saying, Republicans are the ones that created the environment which allows riots to flourish. Is crap when you're talking about 3, 4, 5 generations of Democratic rule in the very locations they're coming from, and then say, oh, it's because he says things on Twitter. Therefore, the people are rioting.
So you don't believe that somebody can inflame a crowd?
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm saying on balance, when you balance generational messaging versus someone that comes in for a couple of years and tweets, you're like it's to diminish the influence of generations of one-party rule is completely and totally just politics at its raw base.
But I've got a. This was something you and I spoke about pre-show. We kind of looked at it as like, let's not get in there. I'm sorry, but I'm going there. So here's the deal.
Yes, go there. I want you to go there.
So just an
You tricked
update:
me.
El Paso, Republican
El
ran there.
Paso.
Also
You
had
know what?
riots.
No. You know who else is? The city of Miami has a Republican mayor. Okay. I mean,
I'll search that one.
Yeah, no, you don't have
Well,
to search
actually, no,
it.
I
It's
saw
right
it.
there.
I saw
Wait,
it on TV.
Wait, can you
that's
tell
not
me
the
who
point.
runs Podunk?
Podunk?
Yes, Podunk.
Is that in Mississippi?
Yeah, probably in every southern state in your mind. Go ahead.
No,
No,
just saying.
Florida. It's only 40 miles from here. I live there. No. My point is, all right, we can sit here and okay, my God, I feel like I'm going to say the same thing again. I've already said like at least 3 times. The purpose of the topic of today is refuting the allegation that it's Republicans causing these riots in Democrat cities. Our point is that these are Democratic-run cities with democratically elected governments for decades, and almost every single one of these. To suggest that it is the people there are unhappy and rioting is because they're being triggered by Republicans is almost silly, because there hasn't been a Republican person in office or as mayor in these cities in decades. And so it's an unfair position. I'm not saying that there's no riots in anything Republican. We're saying we're trying to defeat the allegation by Biden yesterday who says Republicans refuse. I'm done with that. I'm not explaining that again. It speaks for itself. But if for a moment we could just say, forget everybody's talking points. And an image came when you were talking earlier, Rich, explaining how you got there. It seems to me like the generation, our kids' generation, a lot of people come to their opinions based upon a really wicked game of telephone. They see it on social media, and it gets exponentially distorted from what the real truth is. And my point of this little bit of a diversion is, Serge, I understand what you mean when you say, well, it could be Republicans too. Okay, I'm going to admit that. But let's cut out the talking points and let's ask, what is the actual request that is being protested for? Let's forget the violence. Let's forget the murder. Let's forget the burning down buildings. Let's forget the broken glass and the destroyed businesses and the destroyed dreams of all the immigrants and poor people who run businesses in those cities, not to mention all their employees. Let's forget all those people for just a moment, even though Republicans care about all of those people deeply. But what is the I don't know, name the top three things that.
What is the objective?
What is the objective of these riots? What do they want?
The what do you call it when you have immunity from being arrested? Cops, they're trying to get rid of that.
All right,
they're also
stop.
trying to get rid
We'll
of.
take them one by one because I have an
sure.
opinion on that.
Go right
Okay,
ahead.
all right. So
What's the word? It's called
my law school dissertation was on qualified immunity, so I have some expertise on this.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. All right. You're a police officer.
Yep.
Imagine it. All right. You have to make moment by moment decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you wanting a policy in which that person has to make momentary decisions thinking about their personal liability?
Yep. Absolutely. Because if
That's,
they have the power
to
to
me,
take
that
somebody's
is
life,
so effed up.
If you got
I go
power,
right there. I go right into that so effed up
How?
because, okay.
because they have to be responsible. We're holding them to less standards than we
No,
hold the
because
military.
you have to make literally a tenth of a second
so does
decision.
the military. But they don't
But
have.
that-
They can't just
They have,
open up
they,
fire.
have,
on
Yes.
they have immunity.
They have immunity.
Yeah, but they don't just open up fire. You can actually.
No, but you can't have.
to the brink.
Do you want you go into war?
Police can't
Let's
open up
use your
fire
example
either.
of the military, right?
But-
you go into war. Do you want your military officers thinking, maybe I'll let the country go down and like everybody just lose this war because I may suffer some personal lawsuit from it.
That's not how it happens in the military.
No, but this is I'm illustrating by an absurd example, but this is what makes the point. Okay, you're a police officer, and let's use the latest example of Kenosha. Okay, they got a call. The police in general got a call. Disturbance involves somebody. We ran a check. History of domestic violence. History of using weapons.
Outstanding warrants.
Outstanding warrants. This guy's no angel. And I'm not saying in this instance he deserved to be shot in the back 7 times. I'm not saying that. I want to be clear, okay, on that.
Can we also be clear that nobody knew who he was?
No, that's the point I'm saying.
Until after they shot him. So they couldn't go into the
No,
situation.
the point they're going
this
into a
guy's
situation where they're told that there's an individual there that's dangerous, prone to violence, used weapons, right there.
Now,
Okay.
have we heard the call?
You're going to actually inadvertently make my point, which is, why are we now, across the United States, protesting, shutting down sports, doing all these things? We haven't had the facts ferreted
What do you
completely
mean?
out. No, I'm serious. What do you mean, what am I mean?
Well, the investigation's not
No,
even
the
done.
fact is they grabbed him by his shirt and shot
No,
him 6
the
times.
fact
7
is you
times.
know them are. That's
Those
what
are
I'm
the
saying.
facts you know.
Did you not look right at the thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw it. That
Did
doesn't
he
mean.
not grab the guy by the back and shot him 7 times?
Yeah, I saw
Okay.
that.
Did they find
When
the gun
you are a
after?
police officer and you're
No, it
told,
It doesn't require a gun.
But did they find a firearm after?
No, they didn't. They found
So
they found a
found-
knife.
they found a
knife.
knife in the car.
So we're
That-
worried about a knife.
But
When
they
you
don't
have-
know it's a knife. This is the part that pisses me off. I'm going to tell you directly. The police officer is going into that situation thinking it could be any weapon in that car.
And that's
Now
the
that they
problem.
find it's a knife, they go like, oh, he got shot because he was
That's
reaching for a knife?
the problem.
No, he got shot because they thought he was reaching for a semi-automatic
You
weapon that can kill them.
Just
You don't
made
know.
my-
You have no idea.
You just made my point.
And you
We
made
are
ours.
training officers to be scared. As soon as you walk in, don't trust him.
You should be scared
No,
because...
you shouldn't.
Absolutely.
Are you kidding me?
You're not
That's
being
how-
scared based on
that's
his
how
race. You're being
people
scared
go.
based on that person's
He's
history.
being scared.
That's where you
No.
fuck up.
Subconsciously,
No.
he's scared of that man because of his race.
No,
because
you're,
growing
you're
up,
scared because
he
the
watched-
person you're going
No.
into has a history
No.
of violence with a weapon.
No, and this is what you don't understand. We're
No,
subconsciously,
you don't understand.
We are subconsciously brought up in this country to believe black people are the problem. they're criminals because what do you do
Jason,
every time?
relax,
no,
man.
what do you do every time you turn on the TV? What do you see on the news? The black person is the criminal. They're the bad guy. They're the robber.
Serge, you are projecting your own
no,
guilt.
These are what is
that you feel towards the other races.
This is what you see in the media.
No, seriously.
I don't feel that way because I've been around them long enough to know that that's not the case. There's criminals that are white. There's criminals that are black. There's criminals that are Hispanic.
Under your world,
however,
Serge, in your world, there is no way, zero way, that officer who fired shots was being anything but racist.
No, I didn't say he was being racist. I'm saying...
Then let the facts...
No. I'm
let
saying
the facts
he has
come
been
out.
Conditioned to believe that this is a bad situation. This guy's going to hurt me no matter what.
But you're conditioned to believe it's racist.
But
why are you so upset about it?
I'm not upset. I'm saying that he's being conditioned. I'm going to the situation. If he goes in a situation with you and you...
He's going in a situation thinking it could be potentially my life. That's what he's saying.
It's the same situation with you now. You're going to the car.
He's going to not
You are not getting shot 7 times in your back. I promise you.
Shit.
I promise you.
Serge, tell me. He's going into that situation thinking, I'm going to fire my weapon, rapid fire if I think my life is going to die.
In the back.
Let the facts come out why it's 7 times.
How about instead of letting the facts
come out? But you're immediately assuming.
How about you let the guy turn around to see if he even has... You think somebody's going to turn around like Quick Draw McGraw and blow your head off?
I do actually.
The guy has a bulletproof vest. You're worried about getting shot with a bulletproof vest.
It doesn't protect his neck. It doesn't protect his head.
It doesn't matter.
What the hell is your problem, Serge? Holy crap.
Why is it 7 shots? Why couldn't you shoot him once?
I'm going to tell you. Wait, let's settle down.
What's wrong with shooting the guy once?
Let's settle down.
If I get shot one time, I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing.
I'm going to tell you why it's 7 shots.
I'll tell you why before you tell me, because it's easier to not take somebody to court when they're dead than it is if they survive. Because if they survive, now they can testify. And now it's looking bad. Why do you think it takes them so long to get? So
you think in a billionth of a second he said, "I'm going to eliminate someone who can testify against me"?
I didn't say that. I'm saying he said, "I'm going to shoot this guy because it doesn't matter because I can get away with it."
No.
Yes, he can.
Can I give you an alternative reality? This is the whole point of the show because I think going back to the theme of, I think that there are divergent views because of just digesting small parts of the news.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you see it from the perspective of all I need to know is that at the moment in time he was shot 7 times in the back and they had no idea what he was reaching for, what he had in his possession, and that seems egregious.
Why couldn't they tackle him?
Hang on.
They shot him twice with a taser and he didn't
Hang
stop.
on.
You couldn't tackle him?
Hang on.
You could shoot him.
Wait, no, but you're missing
the
the
whole
point
that I'm making. Is
no.
It is easier to say
you gotta let me finish
pop.
You got to let me finish.
Me going up
Could you
and
let me finish my point?
No, but I'm also showing you that. Like,
I'll let you finish your point.
Like they let the other guy run around
You're gonna let me
with
finish
a knife in his hand, and they somehow managed to bring him in. But yet this guy they have to shoot 6 times.
Let me make my point.
Well, 7 times at back. My fault.
Okay.
7, because 3 isn't enough.
4
is not enough either.
If you believe...
Neither is 5, actually.
This is the thing about... And I think you have a prejudice.
I don't have a prejudice.
Okay.
I'm saying nobody deserves to get shot in the back 7 times when you don't even know if they have a weapon.
This is your view, which is...
facts. What do you mean? Like, you telling me if you're reaching your car and shoot you 7 times...
When you start saying it's facts, that's where...
It's facts. You believe
people
deserve to get shot 7 times?
Can I have an opinion?
In the back?
Listen to me. Can I have an opinion to allow...
Yeah, go ahead.
The justice system as it exists today, without going into, oh my God, it's completely racist. We're not going to talk about the justice
system too, because we can talk about the justice system and how corrupt that is.
Listen,
Breonna Taylor today, the news dropped today.
So your view, if I'm understanding you, your view is, no matter what else is in the world of facts, no matter what else, and given the system that we have, no matter what, it had to be racism.
I didn't say it was racism.
Then what is it?
Sport training is being conditioned your whole life. It's also
or it could be not. All I'm asking you is the thing, or it could be not.
Or it could be not, but it also could be they're telling you.
I won.
If you're scared.
I'm serious.
No,
I'm serious.
It could.
I just want you to say, or it could be not, because that's what our system tries to ferret out. But when you riot and burn down buildings because he's presumed to be untrained, because maybe we don't want to train people who
it's 9
months
be
sensitive to racism.
No, it's 9 months worth of training. You know it takes longer to be a barber than it does to be a cop? It takes longer to be a beautician.
But I want you.
What do you mean whatever, bro?
No, but
you're changing the topic.
I'm saying that their training is trash.
Serge,
who cares about?
You're throwing a bunch of scared people out there with no training.
Listen, you're not listening.
You're
not listening to me. I want you to really pay attention to what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
Listen, deep down.
Go ahead.
Okay. All I'm asking
All right.
is that officer who acted that way, or officers, okay, who acted that way, have the exact same constitutional right to present their side without having the world and the media say that's racist and therefore we need to burn down buildings to effectuate change. Listen, don't interrupt me for a minute. Okay? Maybe he was racist. Maybe he wasn't. Wait, listen. Maybe he was not.
Let him finish.
It's not about race, man.
Maybe it wasn't racist. Maybe it was a matter of a system or a systemic problem.
Thank you.
In which that kind of conduct is condoned. Okay. Maybe it's that. Does he have a right to say it wasn't that? The totality of the circumstances made me believe that he was a dangerous cat, that he could have turned around at any minute and fired bullets at me and my compadres, and I needed to take him out, and I simply hit, like out of adrenaline, hit my gun. Is he allowed to say that? According to the world as we live in today, he's not even allowed. He can't even be. He's a fucking despicable, motherfucking, systemic, goddamn police officer who needs to. He shouldn't have ever been a police officer because you know what? He shot a brother in the back. That's what we're down to in this society, and it's like. From my perspective, I'm not saying he's not a victim of the systemic problem. The officer is part of this problem.
So you
is he entitled?
No. I mean, did you acknowledge it as
I can say that in any given situation, I'll give you an example that's a great situation for that. George Floyd, the original start of this whole shit.
Yeah.
I watched that, and I cannot tell you, I cannot explain in any way whatever history preceded, like the few minutes before the incident, could have explained 8 minutes of this guy suffering, claiming he's going to die. Please.
Absolutely.
Okay. And by the way, that was a moment where we could have blended this country together.
Yeah.
Because people on our side of the fence, Jason, were saying that's despicable. We're all ready to go forward and condemn it. And get him prosecuted and let him suffer the rest of his life in jail or whatever, right?
That's beautiful.
But guess what? There's a movement on the other side to politicize it and to make it
about race.
A race, and make it about the whole country is a problem and not the officer. Now, like I said a moment ago, I'm not disputing that there's a brotherhood in the police. And since there's a brotherhood in the police, there's racists in the police. The brotherhood's going to protect the racist. Absolutely. I get it. Is it a systemic problem? Is a debatable issue is what I'm saying. You cannot go to any particular circumstance and say that is by definition systemic and he's not entitled to a defense. Let's burn down buildings. Let's fucking destroy things. That's what I'm coming from, right? Do you agree with me, Jason?
I completely agree.
Yeah. I agree too. But I'm not looking at it as
but you know what we can't have?
Police. It's not an individual cop thing. It's the whole overall system.
With all due respect, we really can't have a conversation or a legitimate debate unless we let each other explain our respective positions. And I think that's kind of the problem, is that the riots that are following George Floyd and the riots following Jordan, what is his name?
Blake?
Jacob Blake. I almost called him Jordan Sparks. Wow. Jordan, that was terrible. Sorry, Jordan.
Over.
No, Jacob Blake. My point is, no, hold on. Sorry to put that in your head. My bigger problem is that we're jumping to conclusions about lots of things. I want to show you something, Serge. I'm sure we can't watch it on here, but I still want you to see it, and I want you to go monologuing for just about 30 seconds, because I want you to explain, kind of like what we were talking about earlier today, like we need to break away from the name calling and the emotional conversations and break it down to what is it that we want, and can we find a middle ground? But I want to show this to Serge.
Okay. Do you want to go to a music break and have him look at something? Okay. We don't want dead air.
Okay.
You don't. That's why you're.
No, I'll
monologuing.
Okay, so there's two guys.
All right. So Serge is going to listen to something.
Him get it in the car.
Okay.
And he shot them both, and then he drives away.
Yeah, that's one situation.
Okay.
But that's okay.
All right. So
because we're not going to apply one situation to.
Please get to the mic and describe what
monologue like I asked.
No, but I don't know what
I'm just going to say we're not going to apply one situation to the whole thing.
But you want to apply Jacob. But you want to apply.
But hang on. I want to get Jason's point why he did what he did first. Hang on. Go ahead. Put it in context. Okay. Why did you do it? So what did you show and why did you show it?
What we're looking at, and my God, it's terrible that we can't do this. A stop that occurred in a different state, not Wisconsin, where the police tried to stop and subdue a potential suspect, and the suspect wrestled themselves away from the cop, jumped into the side of his car, reached in and grabbed the gun, and then shot both cops in broad daylight on the side of the road, and then got in his car and drove away. Here, I'll let you watch it.
Okay.
And my point is that you can say all day long, you shouldn't put 7 shots in a guy's back, and then there's literally circumstances where cops have been trained. Don't let them get away. By the way, there's also facts that show that Blake had a knife, not a gun. He had a knife on him at the time. He had already been tried to be subdued. He had already placed one cop in a chokehold. He had already been tased twice, and he was not subdued. You asked, why didn't they tackle him? Why didn't they do this? Why? They did. They tried to tase him. They tried to subdue him. They tried to tackle him, and he continued to get away. The question becomes, why? Why is he getting away? What is he trying to do? Why is he reaching in the car? By the way, he didn't try to get in that car and drive away. He got in the car, and he was reaching for something. Because you say you laugh, but really? When you get into a car, do you
get a chance to get into the car?
He
opened the door with shots.
I'm sorry. When you reach into a car, did you go in arms first or do you go in legs first?
But if
there's a dude grabbing him by his shirt.
Listen, Serge. If the officers say 50 fucking times, don't reach into the car, assume that to be true. They say it like multiple times. Yeah. Okay. If you reach into the car, we're going to presume to you to be a direct threat against us, and then he reaches into the car. What should the officers do? Should they not follow up?
They should throw teddy bears at him.
Or should they become those 2 cops that got shot by the video you just saw? What should they do?
Is that what we're doing?
Look, it's a reality for these officers. That's my point. They have to make moment-by-moment decisions. They are trained based on saying shit like this. And like, don't let this happen to you.
You just said it perfect. They are trained by seeing shit like
not
this.
Shit like this. Stuff like this.
You said it.
Not shit like this.
They were trained.
Right.
So now you got 9 weeks of training as a cop. Every day you're watching.
Don't let this happen to you.
I'm just saying. Every day you're showing.
It's life and death, man.
Going to kill you.
It's life and
these
death.
These guys are going to kill you.
No, not these guys are going to kill you. This is a situation. If you don't,
kill you.
Oh my God, you're so wrong.
Be scared.
Do you know how wrong you are?
Now here's a
wait. Have you come to this opinion based upon knowledge, or have you actually talked to an officer and actually had them explain to you the training they went through and what they're thinking at the time? You know what? Maybe we bring in a cop next week.
We should bring in a cop.
All right, gladly.
I think that'll be fine.
I can find one
because I know I spoke to one of the head police officers in Sarasota on the phone the other day. Not the other day, but a few weeks back on the Shizzle show. We had the same conversation. And he even said that there's a lot of retraining that needs to happen because...
Hey, shout out, Gino. Love you, brother.
Shizzle, not Gino.
I know.
But shout out to Gino anyway. Okay, that's what I'm answering. But like I said...
I got the wrong show.
It's a whole issue about training. They need to have, like you said, the immunity. That needs to be taken away. Because you need to know.
You can't take it away.
You can't take it away because if you know...
You cannot take it away,
If you go in here knowing that, if I mess up...
There will be no cops without immunity.
I'm telling you.
That's the problem, is giving them immunity is a major problem.
No, but here's the problem.
That's a major...
You have to think 2 chess moves ahead, Serge.
Let's say
because,
this.
No, wait.
I always get cut off. Can I say something?
Yes, I'm getting cut off.
If you're training me to shoot first, and I don't have to worry about it because I got immunity
to shoot first.
No, but you're telling me
to assess the situation.
Okay, we're not going to say they're training them to, But the fact is, if I know that I can shoot somebody and kill him, and I don't have to worry about getting in trouble, the odds of me shooting somebody and killing somebody.
Do you think there's anyone on the force that's like, I would much rather that guy be dead than him testify against me? Are you
if I know that there's a chance that this guy might not have anything, I can kill him, and if he doesn't have anything, I'm going to be fine regardless.
Wow.
If he does have something, now I'm a hero. But 9 times out of 10, guess what? They don't have anything. That's the problem.
That presumes police officers, by their nature,
because they're trained to be scared.
No, I don't agree with that at all.
They are.
No, I don't agree with that.
You just even said that.
Your position is also
that got away.
No, they're trained to say, okay, what you look at that video and say, what can I do differently to avoid me becoming a victim?
No.
You're not shooting someone 7 times in the back. No, and I'm not. And I said clearly, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with the 7 shots in the back. I'm just saying, is he entitled to have all the facts laid out before cities are burned down? Can we have a society which doesn't presume he's acting like you're presuming he's acting?
I'm not presuming that he's acting that way. I'm saying he's going into the situation knowing that he's scared, but also knowing in the back of mind he's got immunity. He can shoot somebody and not have to worry about the consequences.
But isn't that the systemic unfairness that the people are uprising against?
Absolutely.
That are burning down buildings?
Absolutely.
So why not take a fucking week off and let the investigation come forward?
Because they've taken 3 months off for Breonna Taylor and they still haven't done anything. And on top of that, they got the guy, the prosecutor is trying to pitch a plea deal to the guy that they were supposed to arrest that night. And guess what they said? If you say she's the ringleader, we're knocking off 10 years. How is that cool? Instead of saying these cops did the wrong thing, we're going to go ahead
and make a game of telephone.
Are those facts?
This is game of telephone.
These are facts. The lawyer just dropped it today. Do you want me to read it? Because I shared it. Would you like me to read it? The lawyer from the guy that they had the warrant for when they went to her house.
Was it ferreted out by cross-examination in front of a court?
Listen, I'm going to read the whole...
I'm just saying, I'm a lawyer.
You're missing the point. You are willing to jump to conclusions based upon media reports, but yet you're not willing...
This is his lawyer that said this is the plea deal that they offered.
It's the media reporting what the lawyer said.
Yeah.
No. And
so why would they offer him a plea deal to knock off 10 years to say she was the ringleader?
Do you know all the facts?
So they can back up the facts.
Maybe they can prove up that she was.
She wasn't.
We don't know that.
You're presuming something, sir.
You're making an assumption.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. No knock warrant. They bust in. Dude doesn't know. He fires shots. They return fire. They kill her. Facts or not facts?
Those are facts.
Okay.
As best I know, those are the facts.
Those are the reported facts.
Her mom comes to the apartment because she gets a call that something happened. She talks to the cop. They said, we don't know what's going on. Facts or not facts?
Don't care. Don't know, don't care. Don't know, don't care.
Listen, on the
don't know, don't care.
Can I finish?
No.
On the initial,
you can finish, but I don't care.
On the initial police report, no, because this is showing this is a pattern of corruption.
It's not corruption.
What do you mean? Do you know what they did on the first police report? They said she had no bodily injuries.
I have no idea. I'm willing to let the system...
She got shot to death. What do you mean there's no bodily injuries? Are you out of your mind? That doesn't make any sense. Why would they write that on a police report?
You're making assumptions.
This is what happened. This is what happened.
Hey,
just because it's
now
not...
Now I have to be the mediator.
No. Here's the problem. The constant talking over and not allowing to explain. You have asked me 3 times, and I've tried to explain to you what I mean, but you won't let me answer. It's the same thing that happens when Rich's son comes in and accuses him of being a racist because he's watching Tucker.
It's not the same.
It is the same. It is an assumption because you have not yet ferreted all the facts. Okay, so just because a police report says the wrong thing doesn't mean that's the truth either.
Exactly. That means they're trying to cover something up.
No, it means that the facts need to be ferreted out. See, you're willing to jump to conclusions. I'm willing to let everything be investigated to the end. But you're not. You're continually making decisions based upon new pieces of information without the entire picture, which is what happened in Minneapolis, what happened in Kenosha, what happened in Kenosha 2 when that kid the kid shot the other kid, and now with Breonna Taylor. This is garbage. Nobody is allowing the investigation to come to a conclusion. Everyone said Prince overdosed. Yeah, he did. But the reason why he overdosed was a lot more complicated than the fact that he took a bunch of roofies or something like that. There's more to the story. Prince didn't kill himself. Prince did overdose. The reason for his overdose makes sense. But nobody wants to hear that because all they want to hear is that Prince was dead in a fucking elevator for 6 hours. But nobody wants to know the truth because nobody can stand to wait the time it takes to get to that information, whether it's 3 weeks or 6 months or a year and a half. They want to burn down the buildings now. And my point is, and Rich's point is, sometimes we just need to hold up, put your lighters in your pocket, keep your ass home, and wait.
I've been waiting since the 60s.
But based on
the 60s, how long does it take to
the entire
whole
point?
No, I heard the whole point.
No, you did.
Yeah, I heard exactly
you may have heard it,
you said take time. Let's do the investigation. How long does it take?
And what if the investigation turns out to the wide swath of reasonable people to be it's not based on systemic problems or racism? What if the answer is not that?
On what situation?
I don't know. Michael Brown and Hands Up, Don't Shoot. What a farce that was.
Yeah,
BLM began.
The Obama Department of Justice debunked that whole theory on their own.
There was no hands up, don't shoot. That was a bullshit lie.
Right.
What about
they went
Trayvon?
In there to try to
Trayvon?
What about Trayvon?
Well, Trayvon wasn't killed by the police.
Yeah, but let's
Trayvon was beating the shit out of somebody he shouldn't have been beating the shit out of and got himself killed in self-defense. A jury said so.
So wait.
And so did the Justice Department, by the way.
Yeah. So he was walking home.
I'm not going into this.
Oh, we're going
Why
into
not?
that?
Because these are facts.
Wait,
these are documented facts.
Hey, listen.
No, it's not documented facts. There's already been a jury. A jury's already
been done.
Hey, listen. I'm going to settle this down right now.
I know. We're good.
The show's going to end in 5 minutes.
No way. We're just getting started. Are you kidding me? We still got time.
We got 2 more hours.
Oh, it's going to end now because I'm getting ready to take the mic?
Because I have to be somewhere else.
Oh, this guy.
Party
we got like 15 minutes. But listen. I'm just trying to wind it down because we can go actually another hour.
We can go like another 3 hours.
Right. All right. So back to the focus of the conservative parents with liberal kids.
What's that?
Which you actually brought it together just a moment ago. Which is, I believe, the youth, the kids involved,
the surges
are the surges of the world, right? Are getting their opinions and then their ideology without allowing the time to digest all the information needed to come to a conclusion about something.
A thorough review of the facts to reach.
And that's all I've been trying to make a point to you. It's like I'm not even coming from a conservative view during this conversation.
You don't have to agree with me.
So it's like, okay, this happened. This is a scenario. Why don't we let Department of Justice, local officials, everybody, anyone, completely get all the facts out before we burn buildings in your own community, destroying the very people that you love business or the people who work for that, right? What?
Can I just because you asked earlier and I just wanted to answer because I didn't get a chance to answer.
What other city has a
not
mayor?
the cities, not the cities. Today it says right here, Jamarcus Glover, Taylor's ex-boyfriend and focus of the listen, don't do that because you just told me don't cut you off.
I don't.
He's
you
emoting.
Just said
he's only emoting. He's not cutting you off.
He doesn't want to listen, and this is the whole point. Is that a lot of conservatives don't want to listen to the facts because these are the facts. You asked me about them, I'm giving.
These are the purported facts.
Ask me about the facts. I'm about to give them the facts. This is today because you just asked me this.
Okay, give us the purported facts.
These are the
reported facts by the media.
Jamarcus Glover, Taylor's ex-boyfriend, and her and the focus of the no-knock raid, which took her life, pled not guilty to drug charges on Friday. Court records. This is what you wanted. Indicated that the prosecutors were willing to give him a plea deal if he was to if he were to implicate Taylor was the alleged she was the ringleader. He turned it down. He could have got 10 years knocked off his sentence, but he said no because she wasn't the person in charge.
So what? So that's what he said. That doesn't make it true.
So they're trying to smear her so that way when
now
they
it's a smear.
Do you have any idea how
get her? They're trying to get people to say she was the ringleader.
Do you have any idea how
Maybe
trial
she
works?
Was.
Stop. If she was, why wouldn't the guy in the streets say, yeah, she was? If it's going to knock 10 years off my sentence, hell yeah, because she's dead, so she can't say nothing. So why would I say?
Because it implicates him.
He's going to get 10 years off.
Right, but he could fight it and get 0. So you're saying he should go to jail for
He already had
Brianna?
a warrant. He
So
was going to
what?
go to prison regardless.
No, he's not.
He's
He
going
can fight
to
it.
prison regardless. No, they had him in cuffs.
No,
he's
it's not-
locked up.
Do you not have a presumption of innocence in your
Yeah,
in
what's
your
going on with
lexicon?
you?
We do.
We live in America, man.
Absolutely, and that's the point that I'm trying to make.
No, you're not.
That
You're
is the
assuming
point
that he's.
I'm trying
You've
to
just
make.
assumed he's
they
guilty.
are so focused on trying to protect their own that they're willing to try to implicate somebody who is innocent from the beginning.
You're assuming that the person that you already think that he's guilty.
Yes, that's what it comes from.
Because
You
he's a drug
presume-
dealer.
No, but that's anti-American.
You've presumed his guilt.
Anti-constitutional. You son of a bitch. Get out of my
I
country.
like how you do that. Next time.
Okay.
I like how
do
you
that. I
both
wouldn't
didn't know
do
what to
that
say after that either.
Yeah. We didn't show prep for
Because I
this
gave
one.
you all of the facts. These are the facts. These are
No, these are the
not
recorded facts.
Those are
From the
the.
You don't know the difference.
From
Because
the
we're
courts.
lawyers.
So the
We're
courts are
so
lying?
different than you.
So the courts are lying.
Okay, let me ask you this.
So the courts are lying about a plea deal.
Listen to me.
Plea offer.
Listen,
A plea
offer, my
offer.
fault.
listen carefully to me. Jason and I are lawyers.
I know.
I've been practicing 30 years now. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
25.
Okay. Person A comes to me and says, Mr. Myers, I need you to be my lawyer. Here are the facts. Are they facts?
I don't know what you're telling me for. I don't know.
Okay,
could be,
report to
depending
me.
on the guy.
I'm
if
just
the guy's
saying, at
hiring-
the moment, I'm just starting at the beginning of a case, very beginning. I need representation. There's something going on. This is my story. They tell me a story.
Yeah.
Are they facts?
Don't know.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So I say, I'm going to take your case on the presumption you're telling me the truth. We have a system which will poke holes in your story if they can try. There's another side. We'll see what the other side has to say. The other side chimes in and says, that's not the truth.
These are the facts.
These are the facts.
And they present a
And
different scenario.
are they facts?
We don't know.
Guess
We
what?
don't know.
There's a phrase in lawyer land called the trier effect. It's usually a judge or a jury. They will determine in our system of justice what is fact. It's funny because we know there's objective fact, what actually happened, but since not the whole world is around the event that occurred, we have to rely on third persons to decide what is actual fact. So in our system, we have to let all the evidence come out and decide what is fact. It's weird in a way when you ethereally, but that's the way it is. Okay. So Jason and I react to you when you say this is what's been reported as fact, and we're like, it's not been cross-examined, it's not been put under the microscope, it's not been challenged, it's none of that. It's
Just
what
what
you
the
think
media
it is,
said. I mean,
right? And so, is my client right? Is the other side right? Maybe. But fact is going to be determined by somebody else, a judge or a jury.
Absolutely.
That's where I'm coming from. So when we burn down buildings based on a video clip, is it anywhere near fact? That's what I'm asking you.
see,
In our system.
but Serge, what you
It's
saw.
not. So let's
by the way, we're not
simmer down and
hold on.
let the system work
But we're not
as imperfect
suggesting-
as it is.
Stop.
And make
we're
a
not
determination.
suggesting that what you saw is not fact. What we're suggesting is that there's more to the story than
Yes.
what you saw.
Let it all
Absolutely.
play out.
You
And
got to
another
get to
thing,
the other side.
If it turns out to be whether it was systemic problem or a racist cop or whatever it is,
an itchy trigger
we don't know
finger,
yet.
I don't know.
We don't know yet. But we're condoning all this violence on the basis of
He shouldn't
what
have
other
died.
rational explanation can you give it, Richard? It
We
must
can't.
be
But we
a
can.
systemic problem. It could be. I'm not denying it. Could be.
So we all
But
can
we're
agree-
not in a system where we vigilante justice every fucking time something like this happens.
But we can agree there's a systemic problem, right?
No, we cannot.
Not in any given situation.
I
can
mean
say-
overall, just like
Like
No,
I said,
not
Jason,
overall.
and I-
As those-
Jason, please
No.
agree with me on this.
I'll
Okay?
try to agree with you.
All right. In any institution, you're going to have bad characters. Okay?
There's a possibility
bad
of
characters that
bad
may be
characters.
protected by other bad characters
True.
in the institution.
Maybe.
Does it make the entire, like, all police are evil? That's the thing.
Never said that.
No, but that's the danger of the
Where else have you
argument,
said that?
which the general public gets wrapped up in,
Yeah.
which is let's defund the police because
Of a couple.
even if there's a systemic problem, is defunding the police the answer? It can't possibly mean let's have no law enforcement.
But that's not what
it means. Let's eradicate any inherent bias of
But shouldn't we
brotherhood.
find out whether or not there is inherent?
We start there. And then
There's no proof.
However, there's no proof if you don't look. If they're not trying to
No
look.
one is saying not look.
No, they're not trying to look. That's
Yeah,
the
we
whole
all-
problem.
what are you talking-
We all want this to be fine, but it's the unions. It's all the police all over the United States. They don't want to look at the problem. They want to say, yeah, we'll do an investigation, but then we're staring at 9 months down the road, nothing's happened.
All right. So there was a couple of times in my history of my law practice where I had to represent a police officer, and I do understand that one will protect another. I do
Absolutely,
get it. Okay.
and it's to a fault.
Okay, and it may be to a
Sure.
fault.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I've
But
heard.
what
real
I'm
quick.
trying
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say
Go ahead.
in the biggest picture possible, because that exists doesn't mean in any given circumstance it must exist in that circumstance.
Facts.
And that's the problem we have, is because when you hear a story of like, oh, I got validated because someone else, like the Georgia case where those two neighborhood guys
Yeah, they followed the guy and
shot
shot
the
the guy.
jogger or whatever. Okay. That's fucked up,
Yeah.
right? Therefore, let's say that everyone acting on behalf of the police or as community service people, whatever it is, it's all fucking racist, and you put it under this thing. It's to carry an agenda.
Yeah.
It's to carry a message that has nothing pertinent to what's really going on the ground, and that's what bothers me, because it's now escalated to the point where we have cities burning. It's ridiculous. I don't want to. I don't
Not
want to wake
just
up in a
single
country.
cities.
Where,
Minneapolis isn't the only one burning because of the first guy,
George Floyd.
George Floyd. And Kenosha's not just burning because of Jacob Blake, but literally all these other cities are burning because of them.
Yeah.
There have been a jumping to conclusions
One
without the
last thing,
completion
because
of an
I read
investigation.
something and I didn't verify all the details in it, by researching everything.
Before you do that,
But
can I just ask?
Yes.
So, can we work towards fixing the problem?
you have to, when you say fixing the problem,
Which is basically like, if I know
When
as
there's a-
cop, if I
when
shoot
there's a
somebody-
brotherhood that protects the brother, that's a
Yeah,
problem.
That's a huge problem.
Okay. Is it systemic where that means police as a general law enforcement agency thing are racist?
No.
You got to understand there's a leap there, right?
Absolutely.
You understand? Okay.
That's-
so I agree
yeah.
with you. There is, like if Jason and I were, because we're close friends and we were police officers and I saw him do something that I thought, oh shit, maybe that's fucked up.
Yeah.
My first inclination was to protect his back because he's my friend.
Probably.
Okay, and it's double, tripled, whatever, on the fact that we went through the same training and we're like bunker mates because we went through the police academy together. I get all that too, right?
Yeah.
That would
might
be
be
my
true.
inclination.
That might be
Okay.
true.
And so that naturally exists. It's part of being human, right?
Yeah,
we can agree to that. Okay. Does it mean if I saw him do something that I thought that'd be like against a black person, therefore I was condoning racism, I was protecting racism or whatever? That's what I'm saying. Every case needs to be looked at on its own merit. And that's our system of justice as it exists today. And there's people that want to drive an agenda that are going to usurp events like this and say it's about the agenda and not about the event.
Right.
And that bothers me. I wake up in a country where I see something fucking happening in a city. I'm like, who fucking started that? It has nothing to do with the event. It has to do with an idea about an event. And
Same thing with when
Okay.
they train the cops and they show them the video of the cop getting shot by the guy who ran to the car. It's not about that event. It's about the
Yeah,
agenda.
but
they're trying to
I just
protect.
want to be
Because I
cautious.
look at it like
'Cause-
they're policing I look at it like a lot of these police unions. They push the agenda of be scared. You can die tonight. So if you're
it's
automatically
not
going
an
in
agenda. It's a reality. Because you see,
it's not
when
a reality. It's a
No.
reality that they project.
let me tell you something. Shit,
It's
my
a
God.
reality they project.
Let me tell you
9
something.
times out of
You
10,
work-
nobody's going to be waiting.
You
with
work
cop
as a
behind 'em like,
steel
"Yo, I'm
worker.
gonna shoot this
You
guy."
work as a steel worker on a high rise.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they show you videos of how idiot steel workers who weren't paying attention to protocols, weren't using safety equipment, or weren't doing the right thing, and they fell off and it led to their death.
Absolutely.
Rare occasions, 1 out of 10,000 cases. Do you not take safety precautions?
Absolutely.
That's
Because
all
you're
we're
on
saying.
a high rise.
So when you say they're inculcating them
No.
with fear and all that,
It is fear.
okay. It
I
should
would be more scared to be on a high
should
rise.
be.
Yeah.
That's my point. Because just because it's rare doesn't mean you shouldn't prepare.
Absolutely. But you also can't go into every single situation with that fear. Because that
It's
fear,
okay to be in that fear unless you're
because
saying,
fear makes
you know
you
what?
make the worst decisions are based on fear. So when you go into the situation knowing that, oh, this guy might kill me, if he reaches for a
If
cell
it's
phone
based on
in the back of
fear,
your mind, you
if
might
it's
feel like
based
that's a
on
gun.
fear of someone creating a seriously harmful potential life and death situation to me, even if it's a 1 in 1,000 chance, it's life or death. That's the whole point of it.
Can I ask?
Okay, and you gotta be prepared for it. So I don't understand when you say, oh, they shouldn't be trained for the fear. Of course they should be trained in fear because it's a matter of life and death. I don't care if it's a 1 in 10,000 chance or not. Okay. Now, are they trained to say treat all black people as a potential danger? Mm-mm. That's a different matter.
But they're not. Anyway,
But they're not.
But
I agree.
I want to interject a question because we've talked almost the entire hour plus.
5-minute warning.
Now that I'm talking,
I have to be somewhere, baby. I gotta be somewhere.
now that I have the floor.
not bad.
Thanks. I know where I rate. I'm only paying for 5% of this, by the way.
Oh yeah, we gotta app him after
Stop.
that. Okay.
Anyway, I digress. We've talked about this in this entire hour, the viewpoint of what the officer must be thinking. Why did the officer do this? Why did the officer do that? We have not yet asked, why did Blake not stop? Why did Blake not concede? Why did Blake not submit? Why did Blake run away? Why did he continue after being tased, after tased, after tased? Why did he have a knife? And why he didn't try to drive away, he tried to reach into his car to get something. So can you tell me, now since we've assumed so many things about what was going through the officers' minds, about why they shot him 7 times in the back,
Right.
Can we also assume, why the hell did Blake not submit?
Because he knew that I might die. I've seen, just like cops, just like that video you showed me, you saw that one cop, the guy ran away, killed the 2 cops, or shot him. They're scared now. So he sees every day that there's videos on TV, videos online of people getting killed by cops. So now when he gets that cop behind him, I'm scared just like the cop is scared when I go to my car. So we're both terrified of each other. That's how these situations happen.
Have you ever had a weapon drawn on you by an
Absolutely.
officer? I have too.
Yeah.
Did you submit?
I didn't need to do anything to submit because I was still in my car. So why would
Did
you
you
have a gun
submit?
up?
Did you merely
Did you
just
escalate?
say?
I'm
in
like
any way?
this the whole time.
Did you do that?
The whole time I'm sitting here like this?
Did you comply?
Absolutely.
Did you live?
Because I had a
Did
gun
you
in my
live?
face.
No further.
I was
questions.
afraid too.
I had a gun in my face.
Yeah,
of
and
course I'm not going to move.
And I had a weapon drawn on me.
Yeah.
I was told to get out of the car. I've been told to put my hands on the roof. I have been patted down. I didn't swat the cop. I didn't run away. I didn't reach into my car. I didn't do any of the things.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because I hadn't done anything wrong.
Absolutely.
And it turned out not only did he pulled me over for a reasonable suspicion, he was wrong, and he let me go.
Can we agree?
So can we agree that if you just submit, you won't die?
All right.
That's
so
not the case.
Here's the thing.
Every time?
This is the
It's not
narrative
case
on
at
the
all.
other
It's
side.
not
This is
the
the
case at
narrative
all.
on the other side.
There's
I'm
people that
trying
submitted
to.
and still died.
But listen, Serge, this is the narrative I'm having trouble with.
We can talk about
Okay.
what's his
All right.
name.
Listen.
What's his name? What's his name?
I can't remember his name.
Hang on.
Philando Castile. He was the guy that was in his car, hands on the steering wheel.
One guy, sure, okay.
But that's the same thing as you're the one guy that
You're
shot
just-
the 2 cops. It's the same thing.
You're justifying.
Same thing. It's the same argument you just gave me. I just gave it right back.
But we do have.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
do have.
Dramatic
No.
pause.
No.
Dramatic
No.
pause.
There's a difference. I'm gonna
Because
explain the
one has
difference.
authority and the other one doesn't.
That's the point
One's
I'm
allowed
gonna
to be
make.
scared, the other one's not.
No, once we live in like a compact among society and the law enforcement, that law enforcement isn't perfect, but it's better if you're faced with the authority. It's better. I'm not saying it's right. It's better to comply in the moment and argue later that there's a problem.
Absolutely.
Okay? So that's all Jason is saying.
Yeah.
Okay, in any given situation, you're confronted by police, bad motivations, good motivations, doesn't matter. Compliance will make you live.
No,
That's all his point.
Not 100% of the time.
So then essentially everybody should resist, and then everybody should die because they don't know that they're going to die.
Exactly.
That's dumb.
Just like every cop should shoot somebody 7 times because they
No,
don't know
but that's
they're
dumb.
gonna die.
don't, but they don't do that. That's just it. They
That's
don't.
all right. Case by case situation.
I remember
No,
something.
I
Same
don't.
thing on
You're-
both sides.
No, it is not.
it's
That's
a-
insane.
Same thing.
No,
It's
sorry.
it's about preserving life. And if I'm scared, I'm running. And if he's scared, he's shooting.
Gentlemen,
Jacob Blake knew that he had warrants against his life or against his criminal record
You don't
against
know that.
him. He didn't know that he had
don't know that.
he had raped a child.
That's alleged. He was not found guilty. Was he found guilty or was he had warrants?
He will be found guilty.
Oh, you can't see now.
Mark,
Now you can't
Mark,
see
I'm playing your game.
You're
No, I'm
playing
playing.
judgment.
No. Do you not see the irony?
Come out. You
You're
let the
see-
facts come out.
You're seeing the.
You said he's
No.
going to be found guilty.
But what's
How?
important
How
here
can
is he
be
knew
found
he was
guilty?
under a warrant
You
for
want me to
that.
tell you
Doesn't
how he's
matter.
not going to be found guilty?
No, it's not.
Because he's dead.
No,
That's
he's not.
how he's not going to be
He's not
found
dead.
guilty.
Jacob-
Because
Jake-
he can't go to court. Oh,
Jake-
wait, that's right. I forgot. He's paralyzed.
He's paralyzed
from
He
the
can
neck
still-
down.
He can still go to jail. And by the way, I was being ironic.
I know.
I wasn't being.
Me too.
I wasn't being truthful.
I know.
Come on.
Hey, guys.
I love this show.
I
It's
love
like
you.
one of my favorite fucking shows.
All right. What show is this?
Conservative parents with liberal kids.
All right. So the point of the show, this is awesome. We
I
get to
know it
debate
is.
it.
I
Okay.
love this shit.
Is in spite of our difference. Serge, do I love you, man?
Absolutely. I love
Man,
him.
we disagree on a
I
lot
don't know
of
about
shit.
this guy, though.
Okay.
Psych, I love this guy, too.
Ask him
Okay.
all.
All right, and that's the whole point of the show. There's so many of you out there listening who are like, I got people who fucking disagree. They're defriending me or unfriending
Yeah.
me, whatever they
Don't
call it.
defriend me.
Or they hate me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, we just had a huge debate that we could have like choked each other over.
Exactly.
And now we're laughing,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Right?
all
Like,
fun.
let's have a drink. Let's relax. Okay.
Nobody gets unfriended.
Okay.
Shout out to Almighty for finally blocking me, you little punk.
Love and respect all of you. That's what the show is about, even though we differ in politics. Jason, I love you for coming on to the show and being my co-host because you have to deal with Serge because of it.
Happy to be here.
Okay, yeah, because we're brothers, man.
Be back next
Thanks.
week.
Okay, Jason, tell me about your law firm.
Ricardo and Waslick, we represent for people in foreclosure defense and credit card lawsuits.
How can we find you?
At ricardolaw.com. You can email me at jason@ricardolaw.com, or you can call us at 352-567-3173.
All right, I'm Richard Myers of the Myers Firm PA. My practice is largely devoted to employment discrimination and highly contentious custody and divorce battles. Please reach out to me. Is she calling in right now?
Yeah, she's calling her right now.
Oh, you're
Okay,
in trouble.
look, can you put her on the air?
No. Oh, my God, that's gracious.
Okay, don't put her on the air. It's been a while.
So here, ladies and gentlemen, what's up?
Is she on the air or not?
Or what?
How dare you?
Hey, Star! No, please tell me you were listening to our show. It was rocking.
Listen to me. Let me tell you something. How dare you let it ring so long? I was
Oh,
like,
wow. Oh, okay.
All right, fuck you. I asked you about my show, and you go into like,
Hold
oh,
on, Star. We're going to close it out.
You're right.
Let's drop a bomb on the liberals today. Let's drop a bomb and blow them all away. We don't need those crazy coops.